welcome to a video that I didn't think I was going to make, but here we are. It's time for a bad book battle. So, if you have seen my recent videos, some of them, not all of them, you know that I have done a book review for these blind date books that I got for the month of February. Well, the first book of the month that I read was The Predator. This is a poorly written fan fiction, essentially. I don't know what it's a fan fiction of, but it's written like it's a fan fiction. It was a dark romance, mob boss book that is the book one in a series, and so, yes. The last book of the month that we read for February was Brooks. This one was a opposites attract sports romance, or at least it was supposed to be. So let's get down to the nitty gritty and break these down. And first, we're going to start off with cover presentation, because everybody knows that you judge books by their cover. It does not matter that you're not supposed to. Everybody does it. That's what the cover is for. Okay, based on these two covers, right? Which one do you think is the better one? Obvious winner. Obvious winner. The Predator has a much nicer cover. Not only is the design look pretty, it's like a matte finish, so it's like soft, whereas this one's just your classic. Like, there's nothing wrong with the shininess of this. This is how a lot of paperbacks are. But this one just went, I guess, above and beyond to look good, and it does it really well. So based on covers, this one was done correctly. Also, this one was done through Fiverr. Like, this person, it doesn't have their name as, like, credited for who did it. It has their @ So it's @German Creative on Fiverr. And this one has an actual name of who designed the cover. So, clear difference, clear winner for cover design is The Predator. The next thing that we want to talk about is the writing, the actual writing style. Unfortunately, both of these books are very hard to read. I will say The Predator actually loses in this department because of the repetition. The sheer amount of things that get repeated 3 at a time, just right back to back to back, get repeated. Also, in case you forgot or didn't know, it mentions her heart and his eyes 206 times each throughout this book, this tiny little book. Yeah, so the writing of it actually is gonna go to Brooks. Brooks wins for the writing, but not because it's a better written book. I mean, yes, yeah, okay, it's confusing. It's so confusing. The Predator loses because of the repetition of the writing style. The writing style, Brooks wins. Okay, we cleared that up. Good. Story premise, The Predator wins. The Predator had a much better story. It had a much clearer plot line. It was very easy to follow what was happening and what direction we were going in. Brooks fails miserably at this. So the chapter setup for Brooks is there is a new chapter every 2 pages, giving Brooks a total of 62 chapters. The Predator, let's see, The Predator only has 18 chapters, which makes a lot more sense with, like, the thickness that it is. These books, by the way, the exact same, like, thickness almost. Actually, it kind of looks like, oh, look at that. Yeah, The Predator is a thicker book, and it has less chapters than Brooks. I don't like how many chapters Brooks has for being such a short book. 62 chapters? Awful. Hate it. Horrendous. So the story that we're following, the Predator wins there. It's much better story. It's much more interesting. Brooks is supposed to be like a sports romance. They go golfing 3 times. Throughout this whole book, they only go golfing 3 times. It's supposed to be a golf-related story. It's so stupid. Also, Brooks is supposed to be an enemies to lover, opposites attract, but the Predator does enemies to lovers way better. Because, first of all, when they first meet, she tries to kill him. He threatens to kill her multiple times. So they do an actual enemies to lovers kind of thing. Whereas Brooks is just not that way. Literally from the moment they meet, they are thirsting after each other. She keeps thinking about how sexy he is. He keeps thinking about how sexy she is. It's so stupid. It's so stupid. They're supposed to be like annoyed with each other. I don't buy it at all. There's no true annoyance with the other person. Whereas the Predator, there is at least a tiny bit of like, oh no, I don't like you. Just a tiny smidgen though, because then immediately they are, in each other's pants. Brooks was not a spicy book. The Predator is very spicy. Maybe just very spicy. There's sex scenes in it. Brooks, although the characters have sex, there's never any descriptors of like we're not in the moment with them having sex. It's like they're getting ready to have sex and then it jumps forward in time being like they just had sex. So that's a good thing for Brooks. It doesn't describe the activities that are happening, which I think is a good thing. But for being advertised as a non-spicy book, I think it's still too spicy. Like I said, there's not any spiciness. Like, we're not in the bedroom with them when like that kind of stuff goes down, but it's still, there's so much thirsting after each other that this is a spicy book. There's no getting around that. But the author says it's not a spicy book. So it's so weird in that department, in that forte. Okay, but both of these books I had rated 1 star, and the only reason I gave them 1 star was because I had finished reading both of them. I got through it, I read the books, and we got them done. However, there is a clear winner between these 2 bad books, and it is The Predator. I'm sorry, Brooks, it was an uninteresting story. It had several plot devices that go nowhere and have no real climax of anything. At least with The Predator, there is genuine, like, oh my gosh, this thing just happened, and we learn a little bit about the past, and it although this one does end in a way that's like, okay, now you should go read the second book. This one, I don't know if I mentioned it, this is book 3 of a series, which I'm assuming are meant to be like standalone books that just have things that connect them throughout. But I was not interested enough. The things that connect this book to the other books, I don't care. I don't care because it just was not done in a way that makes it feel interesting enough. The Predator does a good job of, I can just read The Predator. It's a complete story. I don't really need to read other stories. It's a complete story in the sense that the romantic couple get together in somewhat of an okay way. It's like they're like, oh, we have an alliance now. But it ends with a cliffhanger, essentially. And there is a big portion of the story that is not finished. So you would have to read the next books, but I don't feel any need to read other books. With Brooks, I feel like I don't know what happened. There's a lot of like weird things in the book that feel like they should be important, but then they go nowhere. So yeah, I mean, they're both 1-star books. I don't recommend reading them, but between the two, The Predator is the clear winner to me. It was, even though the writing style killed me with its repetition, and I hated that so much. The mention of his eyes and her heart every 2 sentences was so awful. The writing style, so bad. The story was so much better than Brooks, though. The story was something that you could easily follow with, and it was interesting, and yeah. So here's that. That is the bad book battle, I guess, is what we're gonna call this video. I hope I don't ever have to make any more of these, but who knows? Okay, that's it. Goodbye! If you were to read one of them, don't.